Chris Erline here, host of Wealth Radio on News Radio KLBJ, and through the weeks and months, I get a lot of questions around Social Security or 401ks or equity investments, and one thing that we're seeing a real spike in is Medicare. And if you're even nearing the age of 65, your mailbox is probably pretty full of invitations to Medicare events and trainings and dinners. And we recently had a question come in from one of my radio listeners that said, "Dear Chris, I'm about to turn 65 and I see that I'm getting a lot of correspondence around Medicare planning. Medicare A, Medicare B, D, and it seems like the list just keeps going. What do I really need to know about Medicare planning?" Well, I understand why Medicare can be overwhelming. Number one, it's your health care. It's potentially a change in doctors, a change away from doctors that you've seen for many, many years. This is one of the most critical pieces of a retirement plan, is ensuring that your health care is covered, you're covered in a worst case, and it won't be something that could leave you destitute. And so when you think about Medicare A and B and C and D and F and G, F is pretty much phased out, but the list keeps going, right? There's a lot of choices, even a Medicare supplemental. Today, I want to show you the basics around Medicare. Keep it right here. Good day, everybody. Chris Erline here, partner at REAP Financial and host of Wealth Radio on News Radio KLBJ and Retire Ready TV on KXAN News Channel 36. Thanks for tuning in today. If you like our channel, hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. All right, so let's dive into Medicare. For most families out there, the three primary Medicare that you're going to be on is Medicare A, which covers hospitalization, Medicare B, that's going to cover things beyond hospitalization, doctors, visits, co-pays, those kind of things, and then Medicare D, which is your drug plan, your prescription plan. And then you have a choice to either get a supplemental on top of that to cover additional things, and or you may opt for a Medicare supplemental. And depending on where you live in the country, depending on your current health, that can often dictate what plan you're going to go with. But see, let's just back up into the three basic ones, Medicare A, B, and D. So when you approach Social Security age, whether you're working or not, you're going to need to get on Medicare A, and that's your hospitalization. You have to get on Medicare A if you want a Social Security check. A lot of times people may say, well, I'm covered by my employer or I don't need it. They will not send you a Social Security check unless you're on A. A doesn't cost you anything. And for most people, your employer will continue to cover you on your employer health care plan, but in many cases, you'll need to get on A. Consult with your HR employer on that. Obviously, if you're already retired, A will be a necessity. And then, generally, when you retire from work and you're no longer covered by your employer-sponsored plan, that's where you'll get on Medicare B. And that'll be kind of the core coverage for you for your day-to-day, week-to-week, annual health care. And then about the same time you're getting on B, you'll likely want to get a D plan, which is the prescription plan. Now that's been greatly impacted this year by the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA Act that the current administration just recently passed, and that's going to impact Medicare D in future years to come. And we have other episodes here on our YouTube channel. Be sure and tune into those. And then after we get through D, you may look at the supplemental or the Medicare Advantage. Now, when it comes to your premiums are going to be assessed generally on your Medicare B and D. And your Medicare premiums, as I've discussed in many of our YouTube segments, they're dictated by your income. So you need to have a plan to control your income, your capital gains, large spikes in your income throughout your retirement to ensure that you keep your Medicare premiums low. Because if you don't have a plan for this, it can mean you're paying hundreds of dollars more per month, per person, for the same coverage your neighbor's getting. So your Medicare B and D, that is your premium amounts, will be dictated by your income. Now, when it comes to the supplemental or Medicare Advantage, that's something that becomes a little bit more personal. And we'd advise you to consult with a Medicare specialist. At REAP Financial, we have somebody, a fiduciary in-house, full-time staff that can help our families and many of you navigate this more difficult landscape. And at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be confusing. You just need to be educated on your options and what really suits you and potentially your spouse the best. If you want more information around how these plans work, get your hands on our new report, How to Not Let Medicare Derail Your Retirement. Get your hands on it, email me, retire@reapfinancial.com. That's retire@reapfinancial.com. My team will have it on its way to your inbox.